Hi, welcome to WMD, that's Woody's Modelling Diary, and we're back with my last great project layout, slightly different view. I think the last time we had a look at this was beginning of December in 2023, so Happy New Year to everybody. Apologies for the lateness. Hope you do have a good 2024. Not huge amounts been happening. I've been busy with my 009 gauge layout Chalkton, which there was a video of that again, I think December of last year. That's just about finished, and I had a little bit of a break over Christmas, and January I was doing a bit of military modelling, but sometimes you just have to do something different to get back into the zone of wanting to do another project. So I'm back in the zone, as it were, with my last great project layout, and as I say, slightly different view. This is the other side to the side that you normally see, which, if I do my usual shaky camera work, is this side. You'll have to excuse the mess. They say all great artists work in a mess. I'm not great, I just work in a mess. But been doing quite a bit on this side of the layout, which I had plans for this being a big station originally, and that's slightly changed now. There's a lot of track work here, but let me just take you through what I'm trying to achieve. Let's start at this end, and the back four loops there, where we've got the Pullman, the Class 58, and the back end of some mineral wagons and some Illy and ER teak coaches. Nothing like a bit of variety in life, and that's certainly what I've got. So the back four loops, there's two on the up line, two on the down line, quite long. So I think one of them is about 14 foot long, all in total. No, probably a little bit less. I think probably 12 foot long. But the idea of that is that will be hidden behind, if I can get this right, hidden behind a retaining wall, and there'll be a townscape, or might have something else in mind, but I've got to mull that over for a little bit. And to the front of that, and as you'll know, there's three loops on this line. Back to the main line loops, and the inner loop is a sort of branch line, single line working with a passing loop over the viaducts. Just to give you an idea of what we've got there, those are the two main lines there. This is the single line loop, as it were, with the passing loop. Sorry, quite a few loops in that. But in effect, this now becomes a sort of small urban station. So down here we'll have a central platform served by an overhead station building, sort of just up here. We've got a sort of DMU coach siding here. Obviously there's two lines to the station itself, so that allows two trains to pass each other, and with the two lines over the viaduct, I've sort of got the ability to run three trains. I've also got this sort of goods yard, which really is more like a wagon storage. I decided that in effect the ideal number of wagons for a rake on the inner loop was about 10 wagons. So we've got 10 15-foot petroleum wagons there, which sort of fit in. There's three lines there, so I can change over. If I really want to, I can do some shunting. And the overall philosophy here is that I can use this sort of area here a bit like a sort of small layout, and in effect use the passing loop on the viaducts as a little bit of a fiddle yard. So if I've got my back to that, I can be working on this and operating to my heart's content, as it were. So there's quite a bit of flexibility there. I've also got this line which the Class 37 is stood on, which originally was going to go to a motive power depot. I'm not so sure about that. There's not a lot of room there. So that may well become just scenic. Sometimes you can try and put a little bit too much into an area. But I think that's my sort of general philosophy. It gives me that flexibility to be able to do shunting here whilst having a couple of trains running around on the main loop, which suits me fine. The track is sort of more or less aligned as it should be now, so the next stage is to do some wiring, hole cutting for point motors, get this underlay glued down properly, get some ballasting done, and then the work on the retaining walls and the sort of station and goods area begins. And then really it's a case of what I do on top, townscape or something else. Something else could be quite interesting, but I'm going to mull that over before I talk about that, if it does come about. So that's where we are at the moment. So I hope that's of interest, and I hope the philosophy of trying to incorporate different functions into a layout is something that might be of interest to you if you're designing your own layout. This layout has always been built to watch trains run, but it does have a little bit of operational interest with the small station here in the goods yard. So we can do shunting, but we've also got that ability to do that whilst we've got trains running around the main line. And talking of trains running, the bit which most people enjoy the most is seeing a few trains run. So let's do that. Just before we do get to the trains running, one bit I should have explained as well, which was always part of the plan. This sort of small short siding just to the side of the scissor crossing, that was always designed to hold a sort of shunting motor of some sort, but obviously this class 58 isn't a shunting motor, but we'll have to just imagine it is. And the idea was that if you see, there is a sort of line which goes around there, comes there, and then with this siding leads onto the goods yard. So the philosophy was that a train could in effect come here, the loco would stop there, release its wagons, be able then to pull down to the servicing point or the empty motive power depot, and then the shunter located there could then do the business with pushing the wagons into the goods yard. And again, vice versa, it could also pull out wagons for a train which was going to be going that way. The train could come out of the service depot and then back onto its train and pull it off. So again, a little bit more operational interest, so it's not all about watching the trains go by. It just gives, as I say, that ability to do other things. Just one thing which you don't see on many layouts, and this protects the goods yard. It doesn't actually model-wise prevent derailments, but this is a catch point, and basically the idea is it's normally set like that. It's only when movements are allowed or authorised that it's set like that. And I'll just use this wagon here as an example. Obviously it can run okay like that. If it's set, it derails theoretically before it gets onto the main line. Obviously space constraints mean I can't put quite as much track as I would like to in there, but it is just nevertheless one of those little things, one of those little details which does make a difference. It's a Pico product, so you can buy it off the shelf, and they do both a left hand, which that is, and a right hand one as well. So obviously if we had a right hand one, it wouldn't be very good because it would divert it straight into the main line there. So useful to know about those sorts of things. But now, without further ado, shut up Woody and get on with running the trains. Well, I hope that was of interest. The hobby's certainly going through a bit of a strange time at the moment. I sort of try and keep myself immune from that. There's a lot of people on the back of the unfortunate closure of Hatton's and the decision by the Worley Club not to hold their NEC exhibition today. There's a lot of people out there thinking that the hobby's coming to an end. I don't normally give opinions on things, but for what it's worth, I think the hobby's just entering a different phase. We're seeing a bit of a resurgence of the smaller shows, but there's a lot of people still buying stuff and a lot of manufacturers still producing things. And I think if you certainly watch YouTube like I do, read the magazines, look at the forums, there's still a lot of modelling going on, and I hope that the future of the hobby will carry on. I'm sure it will do, and I'm sure it will attract more people into it. If you're like me, I'm not a prototypical modeller. I don't do things what run on the 15th of May 1955 and only that. I've got an eclectic collection. I just enjoy watching trains. I enjoy the whole thing of building a model railway, and it's taking me a long time, which provides a great deal of entertainment to me. Keeps me out of the hair of Mrs. Woody, so she can get on watching her murder mystery shows, which I always should think I should be worried about, but I've survived this far. So there you have it. Do your own thing. Enjoy the hobby. That's what it's all about. And I have my frustrations on occasions. There's been one or two times when I've been filming this where I've had the odd thing go wrong and I think, why am I doing this? But it's all part of the hobby. Just enjoy it. It's a great way to escape some of the realities of life. And this is what you do. You create your own little world where your rules are what you live by. Anyway, enough of me rambling on about things. Take care of yourselves. To those of you who subscribed, thank you ever so much. It's something which still astonishes me that people actually watch and listen to what I have to say. I hope it's of use. I hope it encourages people to have a go themselves if they've been in doubt. For others who are experts, they can obviously be entertained by my failures. As I once said to somebody, a work colleague, when I asked him for some advice, he just said to me, I can give you some advice, but I'm no expert, I'm just a keen amateur. And that's me, I'm just a keen amateur. So, anyway, you take care of yourselves and we'll see you again. Bye.